Hey everyone, Kane here, and in this video we're gonna talk about heroes once more. And in this one, we're gonna cover up Baelrog. So, this is what I currently have on Baelrog, or more or less had prior to getting his Warmaker's main. So do keep in mind that this particular artifact is probably one of the best artifacts in the game, and you kind of require having it to overpower this hero and your formation in general. So pretty much what this artifact does, which kind of differs from all the others, is it grants health recovery, right? Which kind of increases his base regenerations and stuff like that. Likely buffs the other ones, but I don't really have that much information in terms of that. Then 2-star bonus grants gradual health recovery that scales with max HP. So the more HP you have in terms of the hero, the more health it will regenerate in area around him, which in terms of specific formations, this is actually also quite powerful. Then 3-star, gain 15% chance to stun enemy attacker. So basically, if he's getting focused on stall side, if the enemy is like facing, or rather, your stall side is facing a burst side, pretty much this can stun heroes. And if heroes are stunned, likely you could win out just from your stall side stalling out so much. In terms of the hero not performing, let's say Valerie not doing her fireballs, Avril being stunned, so he cannot cast the abilities for 3 seconds, so on and so on. So, the other thing is the 4-star, which is probably the most important. Recover 1% HP every time a non-summoned unit dies. I always thought majority of the time you have to kill stuff for this to heal, but apparently anyone dying that is not a summoned unit does that. So even if your stall side is slowly dying, this can happen to heal your stall side army units prior to them proccing invincibility, and it can end up tanking at least like 2, maybe more seconds depending on how many more units survive. And with skeletons, that can raise the bar to your stall side tanking like at least 10 more seconds or even more depending on your formation, your artifacts, your buffs, and so on and so forth. So do keep in mind this is again one of the most important artifacts. And of course the 5-star is sort of like a luxury, a damage taken from enemy heroes reduced. So basically at the stage where I'm at, if I do face or rather put my stall side against a burst side, a lot of heroes like Disciphin, Saizo, etc. have a lot of damage and can actually kill Baelrog rather quite easily. So this is like a luxury one which kind of makes the Baelrog at least survive a little bit longer and heal your stall side a little bit longer. This is again a luxury that some people may not want or have, but I personally want to have a pretty strong stall side because my burst side is already pretty powerful. So this could help out. So in terms of prisms, I had a prism with True Ruby or True Amethyst before, and it granted I think 20% more true HP, and I had Baelrog's HP over 40 million. The reason for that was because Baelrog without Warmaker's main happened to die quite often. And because he died, I lost majority of the buffs from, let's say, Hero Mastery, all that kind of stuff. So it didn't really end well for me, so I had to adjust to just grant more tankiness with a True Prism. Now that he has the Warmaker's main, I can double down to, let's say, Intimidation, and have a lot, or not a lot less, but about 15 to 20% less HP than he had, somewhere around those parts. And of course reduce the attack of attackers, which makes your stall side tank a little bit better. And then it will come down to the equipment as well. So currently I had these equipments whenever I had Hellguard on him because I didn't have Warmakers. So the most important equipment are the 2 pieces from the Drake set. Pretty much the reason for that is gain a volcanic shield every 5 seconds, that blocks 99% of incoming damage for 1.5 seconds. This basically makes it so your Baelrog doesn't take any damage whatsoever, and this is pretty friggin' important because sometimes he's tanking quite a few heroes. He's able to block so much damage, and then during that like 3 seconds or so, they're not able to kill him. Then he tanks them again. Perhaps he's able to heal up to full, and he can just go like that over and over and over if they don't have enough DPS. So eventually, or sometimes, he's able to just tank a couple of the DPSs for quite a long time with just these two pieces. So do keep that in mind, they are pretty important. Now, in terms of other equipment, do keep in mind that it requires to be a weapon and a trinket. So the trinket that I chose was the one with 30 stamina, which kind of adds to the tankiness, I suppose, somewhat, and also the stats, because I guess it says it reduces damage suffered, so it does help out. I think this one is the better one of the two trinkets you could select. Now, the other important one is the Flawless Band of the Bishop. When healed, 15% of the healing received is also passed on to all nearby friendly units. The healing from the artifact in terms of 4-star, which recovers 1% HP every time a non-summon unit dies. So this effect paired with Band of the Bishop and Baelrog is also healing around your stall side for quite a bit. As well, of course, with this gradual health recovery and etc, that also helps out. Now, for the other three pieces, I had a Flawless Drake set, again, because I required some tankiness and stuff like that for him to survive longer. However, since I have Warmaker's main, I was able to change Prism. I can now change these three items as well. So I'm gonna more or less try out a build which I've seen quite a few people use. So basically, since he's on stall side and he happens to survive for quite a bit right now, you want to have a weapon which has a chance to stun the enemies that he attacks. So usually if you have a burst side, or most burst sides, right, Baelrog usually does attacks, and that attack sort of has a line. So I do think that either Baelrog can have some chances to reach the backline or aim towards the backline, and this can potentially also stun the DPSs or the mages or stuff like that. So you want to try out something like this. Now, since we put on this weapon, the buff from, I guess, the Drake set kind of vanished, which means these two items become pretty friggin' bad. So we have to adjust in terms of other stuff. So one option is the Arcane Armor, because in the current meta around mid-game or early game pretty much is mages, right? So magic resistance increased by 5%. When taking damage, stacks up to 4 times, so that's 20%, right? But basically this entire set grants like 35. So it's pretty harsh in terms of resistances and stuff like that, and quite a lot of people use the Snake Thorn chest guard, but I don't have it flawless. So I get 8 might and 10 stamina, and I lose to like what, 13 stamina. So that's a pretty huge trade-off. So I still have to use that though. One moment, let me just quickly check. Yeah, I might try out something like this. For now, I do lose quite a bit of stamina, but what can you do? And for the helmet, again, quite a lot of stamina. And the only other option, which kind of becomes some use, is the Flawless Feather Cap. The thing is, it grants a shield worth of 10% of the wearer's HP. So if you have particular buffs and etc., this could mean, I don't know, like 3 million, 4 million, 5 million HP for my own Baelrog. For other Baelrogs, it can be quite a bit more. And shields can stack. So every 12 seconds, the shield can grant so much HP that it's crazy. Though I'm not entirely sure whether or not if the War Maker's main provides healing, and if the hero is full HP, would it pass on the healing to the units surrounding Baelrog? I'm not entirely sure of that, but I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna try out this build, but of course the stamina kind of fallen down quite a bit, so I might need to swap equipment, change around, so I would get more stamina from other heroes, because I don't think I have 6,000. I was messing around with my stats. I tried to reduce my might, like some people have it at friggin' 3,000. I don't even know how, because I have quite a few like rogues, or let's say Nora or whatever, which I do want like to have might and stuff like that. So these are my stats. I don't think that they're pretty good, but I need to raise my stamina a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Baelrog's equipment. I'm gonna try out something like this. If this doesn't work and this doesn't net me some decent stalling or wins, I'm just gonna go back to my Drake set and just leave it as basic as that. In terms of abilities, so this is what quite a few people use and myself use. So let's touch down for the main abilities. The main one is Indomitable Spirit. You gain damage mitigation as he drops in HP, and when his totem spirit is full, he revives once per battle, and it increases, or rather stamina increases the HP that he revives with. I think around 200 stamina he revives with close to full HP or something like that, so you don't really need to worry about it that much. But do keep in mind you should have it at level 9. Then the second most important is overall level 9. So when he's on the battlefield, enemy units attack slower, which is like reducing attack speed, and then do less damage, so reducing either attack or damage dealt, which I'm not entirely sure if they mean the same thing or not, and it doesn't affect massive or large units. And also command further reduces them, so I have 66, so it's not really that much. After that, I see some people raising Totemic Curse. I tried it out, it didn't really give anything to me. This only increases like some damage, which is almost irrelevant, right? Like Baelrog doesn't do that much damage. You don't really require damage on Stall side, unless you put him on like burst side, which you really shouldn't. This doesn't really do that much, so you might just want to have it at level 1 or whatever. And then you want to max out Revenant. The reason for that is when he attacks, there is a 25% chance that his totem will summon a Revenant that will attack a nearby enemy. That can mean something like an Avril, which is, I guess, not too far from Baelrog usually if your stall is facing the burst side, and etc. Or some heroes that are closer to him, or I guess he's not gonna stun gladiators, but likely some rogues, some mages, and stuff like that. And deals some damage and stuns them for 3.5 seconds or 3.6. Do keep in mind this can also like reduce or make morale collapse a bit faster, but I don't think this is any useful anymore. So you might want to level this just for the possibility to stun. Again, your stall side is meant to tank as much as possible, and stunning mages, stunning rogues, reducing the damage done on the enemy kind of adds to your tankiness, because you win out a few seconds, you heal during those few seconds, and the enemy has to DPS again those seconds. So do keep in mind this is pretty important. And then of course you level Shockwave, which does area damage, reduces accuracy. Accuracy debuff can stack, and he attacks in a barrage of waves. Now, what I kind of wonder about this ability, whether or not it does proc, let's say, this weapon, the stun. Personally, I haven't really tested this sort of thing yet, so I'm just kind of wondering whether or not this could be incredibly powerful. So yeah, this is pretty much in terms of the Baelrog build. Now the other thing is the skin. So if you are wondering to buy the skin with skin scrolls because this hero is pretty much broken on stall side, you only want to get the skin which will grant him max HP in terms of percentages. I think the other skin is either 5% or just stats. So you want to get this, even if this does look a little bit ugly or whatever, it still performs a lot better with max HP 10% than the other one. And of course damage, but damage is not really the reason why you want to go for it. So pretty much if he has 32 million HP right now, right? So the skin 10% literally adds 3 million HP straight up. So do keep in mind these skins are true percentages and they affect everything, even the percentages that your prism also does. So it's pretty freaking cracked. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the Baelrog and stuff like that. In terms of hero mastery, I don't really want to get into it because if I start showing them, people will start copying these three ones, the command, divine, and protective. And it really is based on, let's say, your formation. So a lot of people may copy them and then their formations get ruined and stuff like that. I really don't want to show them. I can show these, but again, in terms of what I use, I do believe I use Protective 8 on Baelrog, which grants 20 stamina and reduced damage from enemy heroes and ranged army. So this is what I have from Protective, and in terms of Divine, I think I have Divine 2, which grants max HP and healing received on Baelrog. So basically, more of that healing is more and more passed in terms of the stall side. So I can name them, but I'm not going to show my hero masteries. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the Baelrog setup. So do let me know in the comments down below if you used something like this and also if this helps you out. And if it does, do hit that subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. Thanks for watching, take care, and stay safe out there.